Happy end of February. Here I am at the end of February, last Sunday of February, recording and letting you guys know what I've been knitting and what I finished this month, and plans for the next month. And I finished the Melt the Ice hat in Malabrigo Arroyo. The color is cereza or cherry. Arroyo means river. So, cherry river. Uh, It fits quite well. I did not put a braid at the top of this yet. I may do that. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to put a braid coming out of the top of that, but it fits great. I use the fingering pattern. This is sport weight yarn, but I use the fingering pattern and size 3 needles, I'm pretty sure. Turned out I'm really happy with it. And thank you to everybody else on Blue Sky and other social media who've been knitting these and sharing their work. My knitting guild, meets via Zoom January, February, and March, so we're not hampered by snow. We just pre-planned to meet that way. And I think there were 5 of us who were knitting this hat. So very fun. Raised a lot of money for Minneapolis, for the citizens of Minneapolis who have not been able to get out of their homes due to ice. So this is done. And then I knit a pair of socks every month, and I am working currently. I will have this February pair done by the end of February. This is the Cozy Valentine sock, which is a free pattern. It is a pattern in worsted weight, which I modified to do fingering weight. And it's just a rib that is knit 3, purl 1, which is what I usually do. But then you just knit around the second row. So it's a 2-row pattern. Puts a little bit of a broken rib in there, and still very nice. I like how this turned out. This is yarn that youngest child got for me at Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam. And so I'm going to give these to youngest child for their birthday, which is this week. So I'm hoping to be able to finish them in time. I am past the heel on the second sock, so not too much more to go. And like I said, those are Cozy Valentine socks, so it fits the theme for the grocery girls. This month. And I know I said I was going to mostly make blue socks for 2026 for the blue wave, but I think I'm going to use the other skein of yarn that youngest child got for me in Amsterdam. This is Bird Street yarn, dyed in Amsterdam. And the theme next month at the Grocery Girls is spring, and this is Lovely Shrubbery. So this is I think I said last month I showed you this. This is definitely Monty Python yarn, a lovely shrubbery, very spring-like. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and cast on socks for this one. And there was an idea of using seed stitch for spring. I'll see whether I want to put some seed stitch in the leg, or I haven't decided what pattern I'm going to use yet, but I'm going to go ahead and cast on in March for the Lovely Shrubbery sock yarn. Anything else I want to tell you about those things? That's sort of where I am. So what I'm doing for the next month, and it's pretty much a month. It's till April 5th is Easter. I did this last year of knitting blankets for Lent 2026. So this isn't sort of a Lenten discipline so much as it is a time that's already set aside in the calendar when I can pull out sort of the larger projects. It's still pretty much winter, and I can pull out a large project and work on it. And the 2 blankets that I have in process are a mitered crosses blanket. This is all of this is linked below. The yarns, the patterns, the sock pattern, all of it is linked down below. This is the Mitered Crosses blanket by Kay Gardner. And I'm using, a variegated acrylic, and then a cake, big cake, one of the big Karen cakes, and making these squares. And as I showed you, if you're a longtime viewer of my knitting podcast, I worked on this last Lent, and then at the end of Lent, I put it away. And what I did is I developed a worksheet, and I have a link below. It's free download. I created it, but I'm offering it for free just to anybody that wants it. This is a worksheet for Project Pause, and it's just one sheet that has what the pattern name is. You can put the needle size, when you started it, when you paused it, and where you left off. What you just finished doing, what still needs to be done, any modifications you've made to the pattern, and any technique reminders for when you return. And then I just put that with that sheet with the pattern in the bag. And so I know next Lent where I'm at with the blanket. And this worksheet, when I pulled it out this week after Ash Wednesday, I pulled it out and I realized, oh, I know exactly where I am. I know exactly what needle size I used, how many squares I'm done. And actually, in this case, I'm done with all the squares. The layout of this, I'll show you, is like, this is how you lay out the blanket. So I have all of these squares done, and I have to do these little side panels for the horizontal rows that just have 2 squares. I have to do this garter stitch here for these 4, and then join them, and you actually pick up and do a 3 needle bind off around all of the squares, and then do I-cord around the outside. So there's actually quite a bit of fussy finishing, I would call it, but it does make it lay very flat. So that's what I'm going to be working on for Lent, is finishing this up. I'm hoping to finish this year, finish this blanket. And then, yeah, I'm really hoping to finish this by Easter, have it all done. And then the other one that I'm working on longer term is another mitered square blanket, but this one is in sock yarn. And I took the ebook that Louise Tilbrook has for sale, and I link it below. She has an ebook about how to make a mitered square blanket, and I just am using leftover sock yarn and making these little 9-patch squares and then putting them away. And what I'm making sure I do is get all the ends worked in except around the border, because I will use those ends to sew them together, sew the larger blanket squares together. So, and I'll be able to turn these and figure out, on some socks I have a lot left, and on some other socks I don't have a lot left. And if I have enough for several squares, I want to make sure that I'm putting these side by side. See, this square matches this square. So I'm going to want to make sure that these two are in different areas of the blanket. And but it's a very nice, lightweight, sock yarn on 4s. I'm pretty sure this is knit on 4s. I'll have to check the ebook again. But yeah, and now she does it an entire blanket. I'm doing it with making 9 squares at a time, and like I say, finishing all the back, making sure that every end is worked in around the inside, so that when I go to sew these together, I have fewer ends to work in, because it's a lot of ends. But this is a very nice, lightweight, pretty blanket. And so I'm excited about this, but this won't get done this year. This is going to get, I'll make a few more squares, 9-patch squares in my spare time, and then I'll put them away I'll put them away with with the pattern and with this worksheet showing the needle size and where I'm at with it, and a copy of the ebook with it. So When it gets put away until next Lent, which is also starting in February, I looked it up. I think, eventually I'll have enough. And I don't quite know how many I'm going to make, if I'm going to make this so that it can be a king size bedspread. That'll take a few years, but who cares? But yeah, I think these are close to, I don't know what they are. If they're 9 by 9, yeah, they might be 9 by 9 inch squares. So whatever they are, I'm going to be working on this for a little while, and then I'll figure out, and maybe it'll go as a present to one of the kids at some life landmark. We'll see. What else? So those are the blankets. I've shown you the printable for the Project Pause worksheet. I always like to end these podcasts with a little bit of reading, and I've been looking up knitting and Lent. And I found an article from 2021, which is during COVID, about knitting during Lent and what a sacrifice it was to be locked up in your house in the spring of 2021, which was a big deal. But there was more in this that I thought was pertinent to today, not the least of which is she opens this. The author is writing in backstorypreaching.com, writing about when they lived in Minnesota. So I'm going to read just a little bit of this, an excerpt, and then I have one other thing to share with you. The article is called "This Lent, There's Only What's in Front of Us." When I lived in Minnesota several years ago, I took up knitting and had a wonderful and extremely patient teacher, Donna. With Donna's help, I really got into the hobby. I purchased multiple sets of needles with books of patterns. Donna took me shopping to tiny independently owned knitting shops with walls covered in open boxes of hand-dyed skeins of yarn in such gorgeous colors, they made me weep for the glory of them. I had several projects on needles going concurrently while I was also perusing patterns. So many choices. I told Donna I couldn't wait to finish the projects I was working on so I could get on to the next ones. Her response has stayed with me since. Yes, that's true, but knitting is only the next stitch. It's a knit or a purl. It's the knitting itself that's the thing. No matter the project, the next stitch is all there is. Her words came back to me recently. Like almost everyone else, I've struggled to cope with how small our worlds have shrunk. They're about as large as our homes, outdoor walks, and errands allow. Like most everyone else, I've struggled to take in the reality, the sheer scope, the temple curtain split in two before and afterness of this crisis. I read that and I went, yeah, we're going through that again so soon. Like most everyone else, I've also struggled with the lack of choices to do what I want and go where I want and when I want, to absorb and respond to the profound and myriad types of losses of so many, and not be able to visit and wrap my arms around my loved ones. Go to your cell, and your cell will teach you everything the old monastic tradition says. So true. It doesn't matter what the project is or where it takes place, because there is only one stitch to make next. To serve. Whether that project takes place in Minnesota or Texas, a home kitchen or soup kitchen, whether it's balancing a checkbook or a prayer book, there is only one thing to do: serve. When knitting, there is an empty space between the needles. The needles glide through this space in order to hook a stitch from one needle and lift it on to the other. All the yarn passes through this space as it is looped and caught, to grow like a seedling from the DNA of its pattern into a scarf or sweater or sock, vest or prayer shawl or humble dish rag. It is a liminal, holy space that blesses the yarn as it passes through to thus bless its eventual recipient. Our service in Christ's name passes through that same holy liminal space where God blesses our work to thus bless its eventual recipient. It doesn't matter the project, whether we serve in that moment to stitch together a prayer or a prayer shawl or blanket, there is only one thing: to serve. Saint Romuald, a 10th century Benedictine and founder of the Camaldolese order, wrote, "Empty yourself and sit waiting, content with the grace of God." We have been emptied of so much. We are waiting for, well, a lot. Can we also be content? Can God's grace really be enough? It's possible when we embrace that the next stitch is all there is. Not sure I agree with all of that as we face ICE and have a battle ahead in the next midterm election. But really, the next stitch is all there is. Every day you get up and you have to decide, what good can I do today? And my husband and I read on our political podcast, The Professional Left, this week. We read a really big chunk of a New York Times guest editorial written from Minnesota by Will McGrath. And we just read almost the whole thing. It was so good. But I wanted to read 2 paragraphs from it again because it goes along with the Lenten story that I read just now. And I felt it was pertinent to the knitting that we're doing during Lent, whatever we're making. This is Will McGrath in the New York Times. Here's what you need to remember. There is no reward that comes later. No righteous justice will be dispensed, not soon and not ever. Renee Good and Alex Preddy don't come back to life. The lives of their loved ones are not made whole again. Thousands of people will remain disappeared, relatives scattered, families broken. This story does not have a happy ending, and I can assure you the villains do not get punished in the end. If that is your motivation, try again. Start over. But you also need to understand, and this is equally important, that we've already won. The reward is right now, this minute, this moment. The reward is watching your city, whether it's Chicago or Los Angeles or Charlotte or the cities still to come, organized in hyper-local networks of compassion, in a cephalous fashion, not because someone told you to, but because tens of thousands of people across a metro region simultaneously and instinctively felt the urge to help their neighbors get by. Hopefully you're knitting something that will go to a member of your community or bless you in some way. These socks go to family. The hat will eventually end up on, I guarantee you, someone else's head. This will be snatched up. And the blankets may wind up, I am working on actually a crocheted edging. We do at Laurel United Methodist here in Springfield. The Stitch and Go group takes pieces of fleece, polyester fleece, and someone cuts it and pokes holes around the edge with a rolling hole poker, and then all of us take one and crochet around the outer edge a little lace or just crocheted whatever border, and then those get donated to hospitals. So I am working on one of those during Lent. They're not expensive and they're not fancy, but hospitals want something that's completely washable, which is understandable. And we donate those mostly to hospitals and nursing homes. So I'll be working on that too. And I hope you guys have a great month till see you at the end of March, and keep knitting. And we'll talk soon. Thanks. Bye.
What's Blue Gal knitting this month? It's gonna have color, it's gonna be socks. Maybe a sweater for the cold night weather, but whatever she's stitching, you know it rocks. Oh, it rocks. Oh, it rocks. Oh, it sticky notepad. Soft wool waiting in a basket by the window. Every single stitch turning meh into rad. What's Blue Gal knitting this month? It's gonna have color, it's gonna be socks. Maybe a sweater for the cold night weather, but